This weekend is special for a couple of reasons, and those reasons concern casinos and taking advantage of some of those casinos with my winning slot strategy to make money, which we'll get to shortly. And of course, I'll be taking your questions because this is a live stream. I'm only saying that because, of course, the people who are live here now know it's a live stream, and I'm trying to give a clue with wearing headphones. But and please be sure to subscribe for notifications so you can have your questions answered. Thank you for being here. But some of you might be watching this after the fact, so be sure to subscribe for notifications so you can have your questions answered the next time I do one of these. But either way, stick around, and I'm sure it will be of value to you. But if you're watching this after the fact. But those of you who are here live, thank you so much. If you have a question, use hashtag question. And I'll provide that for you here so you can see that without confusion. Okay. Please use hashtag question in your question. This is a community event. There's a lot of chat back and forth in the last 2.5 years that I've been providing live streams on Saturdays. And so I need to know which one you're asking me. I read everything, but it's helpful with so many comments to see which one is directed at me. So that's how I know. If you don't use hashtag question, it could be missed. So I can spot your question. After all, it's a community event. And today is, there is a live, a donation from Chuck. Thank you, Chuck, so much. Chuck is in Missouri. He says, morning all, bright and sunny in St. Louis. St. Louis. Am I pronouncing it like I'm from Missouri or someplace else? And hello, everybody. So yes, thank you, Chuck. It is very much appreciated. Your support, your continued support is very much appreciated. Thank you. So I always interrupt what I'm saying to express my thanks to those who give donations. And if you have a question, you can also use a super chat to ask a question. YouTube is coming out with a lot of new features, and hopefully you're having a good user experience. But there's also now something called Super Thanks, and you might see an additional button next to Super Chats and Super, what is it, emojis or something like that. Watch for changes. Anyway, today is Derby Day. If you don't know, it's named after the Kentucky Derby. It's referred to as the greatest 2 minutes in sports. It's at the end. Today is the end of a 2-week-long festival. It's held at Churchill Downs in Kentucky, and while there are horse races scheduled throughout the day, starting about an hour and a half ago at 10:30 Eastern, the main event is at 6:57 p.m. today, which puts it as ending around 7, 3 minutes later, 2 minutes later. This live stream is not about sports betting or horse races. It's about taking advantage of casinos when they have special promotional events. Have you been to a casino on Derby Day? Any casino? But especially at a casino with slots and a racetrack? Well, it's a special event at those casinos. I remember going to my local casino at the time. It was about 30 miles away. I was living in Ames, Iowa, going to graduate school for one of my master's degrees out of several, and one of out of two, and then my PhD as well in aerospace engineering mechanics, technically. And I went to my local casino, Prairie Meadows Racetrack and Casino in Altoona, Iowa, which is right next to Des Moines, Iowa. It was on Saturday, May 1st, 2004 at around 9 a.m. That's when I went. I didn't know it was Derby Day, and I was in for a shock. But as the morning turned into afternoon and headed towards evening, I was distracted from playing slots by just how busy it was at the casino. I'd never seen anything like it. It was filled, packed with people standing shoulder to shoulder. I remember looking up from playing a slot machine because somebody bumped the back of my chair for like the 50th time. What the heck? And what did I see? The most fabulous hats I'd ever seen. Everyone was wearing them. Again, what the heck? It's a thing. In honor of Derby Day, make sure you put on your biggest, most extravagant hat. Here's mine. Yes, it's a cowboy hat. I purchased it at Kimosabi while in Las Vegas for my Seven Stars trip on the 4th of July a few years ago. Kimosabi is a store in the Caesars Forum shops. This hat is handmade out of beaver leather. I won't tell you how much the hat cost, but the band alone was $200. So why buy such a hat? Well, that's an excellent reason, but a bit personal. When I went into the store with all kinds of hats and more hanging on the walls, a salesman asked me if I'd like to try on any of the hats. And I said, as I had said many times before, you probably don't have my size. I'm a size 8. Do you have any hats that size? He thought about it for a second and said, 1. What? For 30 years, all I ever heard was, no, sorry. This is that one hat, size 8, which comfortably fits my head. I'm going to take it off so that I can actually hear myself talk. I need to use the headphones. So, for 30 years, all I ever heard was no. And this is that hat. So a few days before that trip to Las Vegas, I won 3 hand pays in 45 minutes, totaling $14,000. So I had some spending money. I went back the next day for cowboy boots, my first pair ever. It cost almost as much as the hat. So I have a special hat for Derby Day. Do you? And just asking, does it have a big feather? Mine doesn't. So today are lots of horse races, a busy day at most casinos, perhaps the busiest, with the main event ending at 7 this evening, Eastern time. What does that mean for slots enthusiasts? Well, first off, it's a warning. When I eventually left Prairie Meadows on Derby Day, it was a madhouse. The parking lot was full, which I could not believe. If you've been to Prairie Meadows, it's a huge parking lot. And people were parked on the grass, and lots of others were lined up the road. It's next to I-80, and it was backed up on the expressway. And here I was with the parking spot near the door because of my early arrival. Somebody more enterprising than me might have tried to sell my parking spot. Maybe if I had a partner with me or something. Flag them down. The highest bidder, something like that. So be prepared for a crowd at your local casino today if you're going. Maybe you enjoy large crowds. Maybe you enjoy people watching, but maybe you don't. And now you know what to expect. So how do you take advantage of perhaps the busiest day all year at your casino? Now, Black Friday after Thanksgiving last year might have been the busiest, but 2021 was special. We were all just so happy to get out again. But every year, Derby Day is busy, and busyness is what we need to take advantage of your casino. You take advantage. You take your chances during a busy event when the casino is. You take your chances when the casino is busy, but the winning strategy is to visit early the next morning, tomorrow morning. So attend the casino with intent to play slots early on the day after the special event occurs. As I've seen myself after visiting the day after a year of special events, careful analysis of bankrolls, jackpots, and my payout return showed a pattern of financial profit. There are a few caveats to be aware of, however. There are more practical issues than anything else. But given your travel habits, perhaps they are applicable to you. First, be aware that the casino will sometimes financially perform as planned, with the result that next day balancing, which is what this is all about, the casino business practice that we're trying to take advantage of, they do well at it. It becomes unnecessary for them to give out a jackpot the next morning to balance their books, as it were. And when a casino, the average mid-size Indiana casino has $1.8 billion that they keep, and that they make. Sorry, that they make, and they return 90% of it. So they get to keep $180 million, for which they pay the employees, they pay their investors, they pay their electric bill, and whatever. And so it's not exactly profit; it's what's left over after that profit. So, thank you. Where is it? There it is. Shawana, very much appreciate the donation of $20. Thank you so much, very much. And I almost missed that. I got to keep an eye on things. Right. So sometimes this balancing is unnecessary, and in other words, the casino gets it right. Second, I found success with this strategy by implementing it between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. on the day after special events. You'll note that it is quite a wide range to play. I gave my dog a bone, and now he's making noises with it. Isaac, in case you didn't know. So let's see, several things going on here. And so, between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. is a long time. So I was going, it's quite a long range. And so what I want to recommend is that you go early in the morning, sometime between those two. What I was doing is what I expect you'll do if you plan to implement this strategy. Find time between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. when you'll visit the casino for a short time, not necessarily 2 hours, 10 minutes. Third, in the interest of full disclosure, for practical reasons, I was only able to implement this winning strategy at a limited number of casinos. For instance, right now I am, traveling, and I try to be at a casino not every Saturday and not every Sunday. I've been trying to do like every other one, and write a review, put it on a website, try to make a video. Now, these times, I have more written articles than I do videos of these casino trip reviews. But it's usually at noon on a Sunday for a couple of hours, not the next morning, which is a bigger time investment to maybe stay the night at the hotel if it's a distance away. So please be, so there is only a limited number of times I've been able to check this. Thank you so much, Russell, for your donation. I very much appreciate it and supported the show. It's getting down to the crunch as far as how much savings I have left. And it's time to make it or bust. So not to worry you at all. Why should you worry like I worry? So I can't do this when I go to every casino, every new to me casino that's far away. There's some of my strategies that aren't easy to implement when you just make a trip, because you're not going to come back a week later. It's all far more involved. It wouldn't do that sort of thing. But there are 2 casinos which are not far from my home, and so driving to visit them early rather than going to the hotel and getting up early the next morning, going to them early is relatively straightforward. And as it happens, both of them are racetrack casinos. A few other times I have been able to implement this strategy when staying at a casino hotel or visiting family and going to their casino. So this circumstance allowed me to wake up early to stay up late to take advantage of being within walking distance of where I needed to be. If this strategy does not work, and it might not work for either of 2 reasons, the casino may not use it this time, or it might be because the casino has chosen never to implement a morning after accounting practice that this represents. So remember that today is Derby Day, so tomorrow morning is an opportunity. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, Sunday, and that means that if your casino celebrates it has a crowd on Mother's Day, then Monday morning early would be the next opportunity. And while it's not a official U.S. holiday, I need to make sure I keep track of everything here. Right. While Mother's Day is not an official U.S. holiday, your casino might well celebrate it as another special event. And if they do, go early Monday morning. If this strategy doesn't work on the morning after Derby Day, particularly, I suggest checking if this strategy works at least 3 times to confirm a casino doesn't have it. Because like I said, they might not need to use it that morning because they guessed right on their balances. And so, but if it does work, repeat it as often as possible. So either way, if it doesn't work tomorrow morning, then go the next morning because that was the prior day is Mother's Day, and one more time. I think we're coming up to Memorial Day, right? So that would be the 3 opportunities. Either 3 opportunities to check to see if your casino doesn't have it, and so if it doesn't, then you're good for like 6 months. Maybe check it again after a year or 6 months. But if they do have it, that's 3 times the win. And honestly, $27,000 hand pays, that's what I got, is more than enough to account for like a couple of trips to the casino. But let me get into that. So the third time is the next holiday, which is May 30th. And so that's Monday, Memorial Day. And Tuesday morning, May 31st, would be when I would suggest going between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., not necessarily the whole time. But to be clear, you don't need to gamble. Let me make sure I'm trying to get used to a new setup here. To be clear, you don't need to gamble, but you might want to be prepared to gamble. With these up to 3 visits, what you're trying to learn is whether your casino does this. Remember, my strategies aren't exactly strategies. They're counter strategies. Counter strategies. That's 2 counter strategies. I'm saying it wrong. Counter strategies. It's a tough word, so why use it? It's all marketing, right? My counter strategies are designed to take advantage of common casino business practices. Not every casino has every common casino business practice, which my strategies take advantage of. So you're trying to learn if your casino has my strategy for early morning after special promotional events or major holiday celebrations. So, you just need to be there. You don't need to play slots. Just watch, observe, look around, check the high limit room, especially. Anybody winning? Anybody winning big? At 5:10 a.m. after a big night at the casino, that's when I won my largest hand pay jackpot to date. It was $27,000. And a woman behind me won another of similar size a few minutes earlier. It was just as the slot attendant and floor manager had finished serving her hand pay and were walking out past me, which is when I hit that $27,000 jackpot. They heard me swear. I remember them kind of being like, "What?" I assure you, swearing is very unusual for me. Usually, only swear when I unexpectedly drive into a ditch, or something like that. And of course, I use the classic swear words of my family. I don't know if you've anyway. So that is what we're talking about on Derby Day, and so let me switch over to checking with your questions. But in the meantime, I have a couple of announcements, so make sure you ask your questions because I'll start covering them in a moment. We'll do that for the next hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, and whatever questions you have related to slots. No, I don't have a pick for sports betting for who's going to win I don't even know who's racing. But I've been having live streams on YouTube for 2.5 years. This is my 104th live stream. All but the last one was held on a Saturday. My last live stream was on Thursday during the week at 3 p.m. Eastern, which is 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, and noon in Pacific time. So people in California can spend their lunch with me. So yes, as you can see, I'm continuing with live streams at noon Eastern on Saturdays. Since my Thursday live stream went so well, more people came than have in the last 2 live streams on Saturday at noon. A little bit more, and not by much, but that's good. It's for the first one. That wasn't that, unexpectedly having one, even though I told you guys about it on Thursday at 3 p.m. Did pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with it. So thank you for those who have attended. And interruption? Come on. And morning jackpots. Magpie 11 says thank you, Magpie 11, for your donation. It's very much appreciated. Thank you. And let me put that away. Her dog's chewing on a big old bone, and I can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it. Okay, so now, so Thursday I had a live stream, my first during the week. I've decided to have, with the success of that Thursday live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern time, I've decided to go ahead with my Tuesday live stream in the evening. So this coming Tuesday at, did I have that right? Yes. On Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific, so people in California can come to it after work. I'll be having a live stream Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And so next week I will have 3 live streams, Tuesday at 7 Eastern, Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday, again, this one at noon. So each will start with its own slots related topic. No, there's so much to talk about. There's no need to repeat, but I'll be doing this a lot. I'm doing this because a lot more slots enthusiasts will be able to get their questions answered at times and days more convenient to their daily schedule. In other news, in 2021, I focused on make sure you ask your questions. We're getting to that just momentarily, and use hashtag question. In other news, in 2021, I focused on making useful products to help slots enthusiasts like you win more often, and then leave with your winnings. I launched an online course 1 year ago tomorrow. And then in September last year, I started a paid community, which many of you have joined. So I also have updated emails. I had some emails, but I put together a much smoother and less, I don't want to say spammy. It is certainly less spammy, but it was always less spammy. I'm trying to get information out to you that you need to know. And so I upgraded that whole system. Thousands of dollars just to be able to have regular emails to you. So that's something else I did last year and more. So why did I do this? Why did I spend 2021 doing that? Because in December 2020, I saw massive traffic come to my website from YouTube and leave because I didn't yet have what slots enthusiasts wanted and needed to accomplish their gambling goals. So last year I made them, which in business lingo is called the customer journey. So what's in store for 2022? Back to more videos and not just weekly live streams, not just more weekly live streams. It'll be, you'll see more uploaded videos and as many as I can make and with quality. So it'll be glorious. Anyway, as I tell you, I don't care what your plan is. I care that you have a plan. And so that's the plan. Enjoy. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the questions. Scale back here and see what we got. uh, while I scroll through the list and look for a hashtag question, I want you to know that I now have a merchandise shelf that appears in YouTube under each video and under the store on my main page at Professor Slots. YouTube.com/Professor Slots. You should be able to find that no problem. Um, let's see. Hi, Jan. Is it beautiful in Texas? Because my goodness, Texas Tootsie, it's Jan. It is amazing. I'm trying to find a day when it's not raining so much I can mow my lawn. Hey, James, welcome. And there's some comments about how I'm making all kinds of upgrades, and one of the upgrades is I found the fire logo, the emoji, and you might see it at the top of the live chat now. That is my video on exactly all the details about going the morning after a casino special event, and that's why I am put that there so we don't have to go repeat. I want to talk to you about practical considerations. Shawana says, I think she meant hashtag question, but I won my first hand pay, $1,600 for 2022. I hope that is your first and not your last. Awesome. And yes, everybody's congratulating her. And TU says horse racing and casino. It doesn't have to be a casino with horse racing, although I was at one and it was just packed. I don't think it was 2004 back then. It was a particular, big event as far as the Kentucky Derby. It was a big event. It was something that was regular at that casino, and so the other casinos, which without a racetrack is also very busy because it's on people's minds. I was surprised by it, but I don't want you to be surprised by it. So now you know. Let's see. Okay. Yep. Bogey Ball 72 says, good morning from PAX Casino and Racing. That's in Pennsylvania. Sure is a busy day here. Yeah, already. Hours to go yet. James, please stop guessing. Right. Thank you. It is a nice hat. I love having a hat that I can wear. And Jen says, I look terrible in hats. I can't even ever go to the Derby. I think there was a few people that you could slip between two people with a big hat because you don't have a hat. And otherwise your hat would collide. Yes. Yes. Jan, Texas Tootsie, meet Cindy, 2020. Please chat amongst yourselves. And Jan says, I must have seen 10 hand pays last Saturday. And okay, good. Talk back and forth. Both Jan and Cindy go to NASCALA, and they have class 2 bingo style slot machines. It's technically not a slot machine. It's bingo. In an electronic gaming format. It hardly tells the difference, but they're connecting like a lot of people do here and on all my Facebook groups. I have one for every state and a humongous one with 18,000 members. I get hundreds of comments on people posting their wins because you can see videos. I don't accept promotion of YouTube channels. So you have to upload from your phone your own video. And all kinds of people do that, or just upload a picture that they take. It's all great fun. And then 300 people will comment and wish them congratulations. And the congratulations have pictures in them, and it's all wonderful. YouTube comments are great, but YouTube comments don't have the ability to upload a image, but Facebook does. So if you want to go to professorslots.com/FB, that will take you to all 57 Facebook groups, and you can sign up, and after the show, I'll approve those. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Paula. Okay, good questions between each other. One for me. Russell says, #question, does Mother's Day make any difference in the strategy? The question, let me rephrase that so it's a little bit clearer. Does your casino celebrate Mother's Day? Is it busier than usual on Mother's Day than it is on any other day? Because what you're looking for is a reason for the casino to be busier. Mother's Day, Derby Day, anything. Black Friday, an ordinary Friday, a non-ordinary Friday where they give away the truck. It's whatever event, major holidays. Like Valentine's Day. Last year, I went to 2 different casinos on the same day on Valentine's Day. One was hearts everywhere, and they're going to have a couples only dinner that night. And the other one, nothing. They're like, I asked them, and they were like, it's Valentine's Day? I guess, yeah, I guess it is. They didn't have any events. So you have to ask yourself, will they celebrate? And sometimes you can find out in advance. Sometimes you can find out that they, sent you a flyer saying, hey, happy Mother's Day, come in, celebrate, we're having something special. And if people do, because sometimes casinos have events planned and nobody shows up, sometimes they make the mistake. If it's busy, then go the next morning. And if you find out that your casino is busy on Mother's Day tomorrow, by going, just check to see how many people are there. If it seems like it's more than usual, then you will always know. You will know next year if you keep gambling records, because gambling records are for more than income tax preparation. It is also for gameplay analysis. So you can take a note, this holiday, this holiday, this holiday, this holiday, so you will know next year. Yeah, I know putting these together for a full year can be difficult, but as of tomorrow, I have been offering my course for 1 year. So now the first people who signed up, if they kept gambling records, which I encourage, provides templates, all that. If they started a year ago, now they know all kinds of stuff about the second year, which begins tomorrow. And yes, I did it. Did I? Yes, I acknowledged 4 of them. So yes, I did acknowledge Shawana's tip, and I'll put that up there again. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. All right. So yes, some of these details, which I'm not explaining here, are in the video at the top of the live chat. It will also be the pinned comment in the when I can put a pinned comment in the normal comments tomorrow morning, because that's when, as soon as they let me, they have to process it overnight. And so that link will tell you the details, and you're asking about one of them. How do you know what machine to play from 4 to 6 a.m.? It's whatever machine is being played. Because the idea, and this doesn't work at like Hard Rock Tampa and Yamava, because is it ever not completely packed? But at many casinos, from around 4 o'clock to around 6 o'clock, Nobody's there. So they're just, it's just waiting to pay out. And, you might see 5 people in the high limit room, you might be the only one, whatever. This is why, I mean, if it's a to balance, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars or just thousands of dollars, either way. So it might somebody behind you might win, or you and them, like with me, you and them might win, and maybe somebody after because it wasn't enough. With $1.8 billion coming in per month at a mid-sized Indiana casino, giving me $27,000 and however much the other woman got, it was definitely over $10,000 because it was a floor manager. Was that it? It's they're so close. They're so close compared to $1.8 billion or $180 million since they get 90% of that back per month. And 20,000, let's see, it would have been at least $37,000 they gave out with those two hand pays. I don't know. The other woman might have had a hand pay that was the woman there might have had a hand pay that was, twice as much as mine. But it's at least total $37,000, which is minuscule compared to 180 million. That's my point. So when you're there and you're not at a busy casino, then you're just hoping it's going to be you. And it doesn't matter which machine. Just waiting for one to be active. Okay. Right. But people talking amongst themselves. That's great. Okay. Camilla, question. About multi-denomination machines. Now, multi-denominational are actually a religious thing. But I think I said multi-denominational for like the first 3 years, but I stopped a couple of years ago. I don't mean to tease. Multi-denomination machines, some amount bet at higher denomination, better chance for higher jackpot. People misread that. What you said is correct. If you bet big, you win big. Maybe. You may win more often and it's usually true, at a lower denomination, not penny, because it's the worst odds of any denomination, penny. Watch me say denominational. But if you bet big, then it's possible to win big, because if you bet small, like maybe on a nickel machine, and even if it's max bet, the jackpot, the machine caps at maybe a $40,000 hit. But if you play a $1 machine or a $10 machine in high limits, it might have a $150,000 maximum jackpot. Now, it isn't guaranteed that you will win more often. It isn't guaranteed that you'll win more percentage-wise of what you put in. Often I've been finding minimum bets actually grows my bankroll, and I need to try it out at another 10 casinos before I'd say, it's something we can see everywhere. It just might be the few casinos that I've been doing this at that it works at. So I'm trying to get a better idea. It's like the 5-pull method works in 1 in 4 casinos. Well, that's because I went to like 20 casinos and I found it at a certain number of them, one fourth of them, 25% of them. And so I wanted to test this out a little bit more than I already have, because I've done like 4 casinos with it, and I need to do at least 10, hopefully 20. So please wait, be patient and wait, or try it yourself. But you can grow your bankroll at lower denominations, and you can in the same winning machine, you can do go from a 90-cent bet to a $4.50 bet by going from minimum bets to maximum bets when you're winning at minimum bets, and you'll win also at maximum bets, but it's not like 5 times as much, right? $4.50 is 90 cents times 5. So, I won like $120 with with 90-cent bets, but I didn't win $600 when I switched over to high limit, or excuse me, over to maximum bets. And so when I went to maximum bets, I was winning like $200. It wasn't even double. Double $120 would have been 240, and here I was winning 200. And I'm like, you know, I'm winning more, but I'm not winning a better percentage. My best way to, step away from the math is to say my bankroll was growing when I was doing minimum bets, but it was not growing when I was doing maximum bets on the same machine, you know, just on a winning machine next to the cafe, overlooking the cafe area. And I won for, an hour at low limits minimum, and then I switched over to just to see what would happen, messing up my own wins, and going to maximum bets. And also I did mid-range there for each of those maximum bets in the kind of in mid-range, $2.70. I did each of those for a half an hour just to make sure it wasn't, I was still winning, but I was no longer making, building my bankroll and making a profit. Let's see. Conversations are taking place. Excellent. Mark Walker, question: do you play Powerball or scratch offs? I am terrified of Powerball. My family, close your ears, Paula. My family would pretty much explode, and not Paula, but word got out that I won Powerball. It would wreck my family. It would wreck my life. It would, I'd have to go into hiding. It would be this terrible event. So whenever I buy a Powerball ticket, I'm just like nervous, which is thrilling. And so sometimes I do that, but less so now. Scratch tickets are completely different. If you want to go to my website, and maybe I should share this so you can see it. I finally put out, and where is it at? Not that. I want this. I finally wrote an article for Washington Slots. Washington Slots has a unique system of slot machines, a setup. It's with a tribal lottery system, but they have bingo related. Tribal casinos have class 2 machines there, but they also have class 3, and those class 3 are based on scratch ticket, on the scratch ticket lottery. The only state that does that. Those other states that have slot machines based on the state lottery is a draw lottery. And the state of Washington is the only one that has it based on the scratch tickets. So they're all electronic. And if you read, I'll share this with you here and get rid of your questions so people can read. And if you go to professorslots.com, here it is: a unique plan to win on Washington's, a strategic plan to win on Washington's unique slots. It's a short article. I've got to make a video on it yet, and I'll put that in when I can. And basically, there's 2 kinds. I just said these are all the casinos. How there's 2 different kinds of state lotteries, and the state of Washington has the unusual one that they have a setup for tribal casinos for these scratch tickets, and then where that comes from and what that says, and how to win on those slots tickets, which is not what you asked, but other people from Washington have. What you want to know is bonus. If you were paying attention, you now know how to go to a convenience store and win at scratch tickets. Buy up to 8 tickets in a row from the same spool of a favorite game. And that's how you win on scratch tickets. One of those will pay for all of them, hopefully. That's your best chance. That's what the experts have contacted me about scratch tickets and explained to me how that works. And I can understand the prior explanation in this whole article talked about how that all worked. But that's the gist of it. I might make what's called a short video on it to get word out for those people who like scratch tickets. But like horse racing, like sports betting, I'm not into scratch tickets, but because I found out how to win, I thought I'd tell you. Um, uh, let's see. Yes, James was on the Thursday and a live stream, and I got quite a few complaints about that. But it's good when people walk away. Do you primarily play progressive slots over the penny slots, etc.? Um, I have another article on progressive slots, and as a strategy. And there's a couple things going on. How much do I get into this now? Do I play progressive slots? I call people who play progressive slots specialists because they get into it. They find their game, they figure out what works, they study it, they put some time into it because they have to figure out where the limits are. It's a little easier if you go to a casino which actually says next to the progressive jackpot how much it must hit by, but there are some progressive machines that don't have that information, yet they still have a number. It's just not listed, not shown. So you can figure it out. And so progressive slot machine players, advantage players, are specialists. They work hard on it, and I outline all that is involved with that, depending on where you are and what your casino has, and how to take advantage of that in one of my strategies. I've stopped using names, but you can just type progressive when you search YouTube, and you'll find a couple of them that explain how that works. Yeah, I am always sad to see someone leave. But let's see. Yep, talking amongst each others. That's good. It's lots of fun. Who is apparently is delighted by my just abbreviating all that to fun. So people, I'm Professor Slots, and please call me John. But some people are like, well, that's 3 letters. Let's go with 2 letters. How about I call you PS? Because I always add a little something on the end. PS. My sense of humor. Question: record keeping. Should it be more per machine each visit? I have just kept count of bankroll totals to and from casinos, and that's what you need for record keeping for income tax preparation purposes. How much you for each location, how much you won, and how much you brought, how much you took home, the date, and the casino. That's the 4 things that the IRS wants. You can look it up under their requirements. There is a 4th thing, which is who did you go with, which is interesting that they would ask for that. And if you go with your spouse, for instance, that would be something that you would add. But that's income tax preparation. Gameplay analysis that's useful. But how about the time when you won, or how about the slot machine ID, or your observations, so a comment section where you would put in, everything stopped at 7 p.m. on Mother's Day. And then you go back a year from now and say, maybe I'll get a little early. So it's amazing what you can spot in your records once you have, compare this month with last month, compare machine from, you're looking for opportunities. And the reason why this works is there are reasons why you win. It's not, it's random, but it's not fully random. I don't even know what people mean by fully random. It's like being hit by a lightning bolt. But if you go climb a mountain or stand next to the tree out in your yard, the tallest tree outside of your yard, you're shifting the odds. So shift the odds when you play slot machines, and records is a way to do that. Now, I know it's difficult for some people to even, I can remember back once upon a time where how do you even be organized? How do I, yeah, if I remember when I was like a teenager going, I haven't kept a slip of paper for like a week. How am I supposed to keep it for like a year? Get a little notebook. And so it does take some practice and some skill. But then if you win money with it, maybe that's motivation enough. And we're all adults here, so we learn to do a few things. And all I say when I talk to people about being organized is do what you do and do more of it if you need to do more of it. Don't drop what you do to do something else. It's like going to a workout, and going to a gym, and they say, "Stop what you're doing," and then I'm just like, I worked hard to be able to do that, and now you said stop because they want me to, like, I don't know. That really is sort of the end of the conversation. And Jill, thank you so much, Jill. I am trying to find your super sticker, which is there, and I have another one. And thank you, Jill, for your two $4.99 donations. I hope that was deliberate. But, thank you very much. It is much appreciated. And if you have a question, do let me know. I will see if I can find my spot again. And yep, record, there you are. And question. Yes, there's a P word of a major event that happened 2 years ago, and YouTube will demonetize any video in which I use that word too often. And so please, I would like to receive your tips in this video. Um, okay. Yeah, good question. Doug, but we'll see if fun answers. Question, I mean like $5 bet on pennies versus nickels, for example. Um, so, well, okay. Pennies have the worst odds. There are 6 U.S. states that provide return statistics by slot machine denomination. In all of them, and it's usually monthly, it is monthly on all of them, it has never shown anything other than penny slots being the worst. There was 1 month, I think it was last year, in one of the towns in Colorado that did not have the worst odds for pennies that 1 month. So it is possible, but with that kind of consistency, it is the worst odds. Uh, Penny slots have the worst odds anywhere that they don't have return statistics because it's just that consistent in all the places where we know the data shows it is. So that right off the top is important. And as I've mentioned in the past, but it's also the most number of slot machines. They could have 10,000 penny machines. And so there might be a penny machine or two out of 10,000, which is highly visible on the corner next to the cafe, perfectly viewable. And so there might be one of those, but it's all, as far as the data shows, it's all absorbed into that average and that low average for penny machines. So there are exceptions, but in general, we see this data and we are glad to have it, even if you're in a state that doesn't provide return statistics. So $5 bets at pennies versus nickels, for example. If you make a $5 bet at pennies and a $5 bet on a nickel machine, unless you're in a machine that's next to the cafe, highly visible, or the morning after Derby Day, or the morning after Mother's Day where your casinos, all these exceptions, but in general, play the 5-cent machine. And it's likely even what I mentioned before was that, a penny machine may not have a maximum jackpot that's as much as a $1 machine or a $10 machine or a $25 machine in the high limit room. One might be 40,000, the other might be a 250,000. But with nickel machines being more than penny machines, it is likely that the nickel machine has a higher top jackpot than the penny machine. So again, another reason to play the nickel machine is to possibly win more. Again, this is kind of like not using my strategies. We're just looking at the data here. Okay. I think you're asking me, Jill, and because you gave me 2 donations, I will answer it as though it has the hashtag question. So what if I went to the casino at 4:15 a.m., $100 in each machine? That's 5 times on each machine. What do you think? This isn't okay. So you have to get over this. You have to get over trying to win like at any other time. The reason why, if the casino has it this morning after, you just need to make a bet so they can reward you, so that they can do their thing. So I would make minimum bets. If you want to make usual bets, if you just want to do your usual thing only at 4:15 a.m., I'm not asking you to spend more money. In fact, I'm suggesting that you don't spend any and see if the people around you, if there is anyone, win, because that will inform you for the next 5 years, every holiday, every busy night. If there would have been a third person in the high limit room with me and this other woman who won more than $10,000, I don't know how much more than $10,000, and myself who won $27,000, and if there was a third person there, do you think they would come back the next time the night before was busy? Yeah, forever. Pace yourself, but goodness. So all you need to do is play your usual amount. First thing is to check to see if the casino has it. If they don't have it, then you're done. And I've seen people like, I can't get your 5-spin method to work at my casino, and I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. And I'm like, you've tried. Stop. Check it maybe in 6 months to a year to see if they put it in, installed it, but you can't concentrate harder and make it happen. We're trying to take, these are counter strategies to casino business practices. And if they don't have it, then I don't know, wait for the new owner, to come in. 5-spin method was, I saw it in action. I have YouTube still shorts on Belterra Park having all that. And that was owned by Pinnacle. And now it is owned by Boyd Gaming as of a few years ago. And it's gone. They changed their operating system. Can't make it happen. Even when it did happen, but that was with a different owner. Now, it wasn't the day of the purchase. It was like, we're going to install and and so, but at this point, it's been years since Boyd Gaming owned it. But you know what? Boyd Gaming, I was there the other day, and a week ago, I guess it was, a week and a half ago, and I'm hoping to go soon. I won't say exactly when. I don't need a crowd, but that's not my point. And I hope to make a video when I do go for you. But they got location. That was installed when they uninstalled the 5-spin method. So now I'm going to go there and I saw it in action, and I stood by. I think I told that story, and I don't want to repeat. But I'm suspicious of that casino having now location. Over time, things change, so especially with new owners. I hope that helps. Yeah, Chuck answered Shawanna's question, and in like a sentence, in 120, in 200 characters or less. Thank you, Chuck. Shawana also asked the question. I made a mistake and made a $50 bet. I received a bonus, but only received $800. I was happy I received a bonus, but I have to pay more attention when making a bet. Sure, there's a lot of people that didn't realize they spent $50, and then they're like, I didn't win anything, but man, I wish I'd won something. And right there, paying attention, which is all kinds of, are you tired? Did you take a break? Are you drinking alcohol? All these reasons for this. I don't know what happened to you. You didn't sleep well. Whatever. But people can have all kinds of reasons. $50 is $50. Oops. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, just might want to take a look and see, think about whether or not you're tired. And one of the Magpie 11, the topic of my next live stream, the one on Tuesday, is something that Magpie 11 suggested on Slots Enthusiast Growth Network, our Zoom meeting that we have, a Zoom group meeting that we have on Thursday nights at 7. About should I take a break? Should I take a break every once in a while? Should I take a vacation? And I thought that would be an excellent thing to talk about. So that's the topic of Tuesday's live stream, which you can either be there or you can listen to later, or you can wait a week or two, or I guess it took me since August to do the one on Washington slots. So it might be a little while, but I hope to have a short video that just explains that, like I have a short video that just explains the strategy that we're talking about here, and I'm answering questions. Okay. Question from Michael. What's your betting strategy for the 75% of casinos that don't offer the 5-spin method? I have 8, 9, 10 now. It depends if you're in the state of Washington. Now, you might say that the morning after a major U.S. holiday and the morning after a promotional event that's only at that local casino, I call it 2 different strategies because it kind of is, but it's the same accounting practices I'm trying to take advantage of. So maybe it's one strategy. I have a whole host of things. I was surprised that my 5-spin strategy has gotten, I think, is it over 1 million views? What the heck? It is over 1 million views. I have 2 videos on it, and one to explain some of the questions of the first one, and it just took off. Why? I don't know. I have a 5. It's an odd letter. It's good for marketing if you use odd letters. Although if it's, you can have your top 10, then the 10 is not an odd number, but it's so much better. There's marketing reasons that this 5-spin method sounds interesting. It explains at the same time, it intrigues. And even though it works at 25% of casinos, I prefer my strategy 7. Come back a week later. 5 minutes earlier, play the machine you won on. That's my go-to method. But I can only do that with local casinos because I'm not, if I travel, I'm not there a week later. Almost always, I'm not there a week later. So I have a hard time testing that one at casinos because I'm just not there. But the 5-spin method, it tests 20 machines. It takes about 20 minutes on minimum bets, and boom, 25% of the casinos I've gone to have it. And so I don't go. I'm a little bit different. So everybody's a little bit different in slots, what they want to do with slots. I talk about that in the course. It's, what is your gambling goal? Some people want to have fun. Some people want to earn comps. Some people want to make money. And it's a little bit difficult. Some people who have told me that they want to make money, I've gone with them to the casino and they don't want to make money. They want to have fun. But they don't seem to realize it. So, figure it out for yourself. I don't do any of those. My job is to learn how to win. My goal is to feed you information. That, for me, is fun. So as soon as I start winning, I'm like, job's done. Got to go write it up. Got to make the video in the car. You know, be sure to dust first. I've got a dog now, and he's got little hairs everywhere, and so my job is like, okay, good, and share this. So you might be asking the wrong person, but personally, historically, I don't know why. Come back a week later, play 5 minutes earlier strategy isn't like the most played. That's the one I won money on. I mean, I won money of the 5 pull method, and there's reasons why you spend less. You can get by with a $500 bankroll and high limits when anybody who plays high limits tells you it's $2,500 or bust. So for whatever the reason, it's popular, and everybody should be looking at a strategy 7, and now because it's kind of all these strategies I've tried to like number them and lay them out, and it's kind of this and kind of this, but it's actually like a Venn diagram. They're kind of like overlapping one another, and I'm gonna put that away, and so it's like the morning after major holiday, and how is that similar to the morning after a promotion? Well, I just put 2 of those out there to explain how to go about taking advantage of it. But then there's coming back a week later, 5 minutes earlier, on a machine on which you either had a win or saw a win, and playing it at that time. And that's huge. But see, it assumes, I have strategies where I say, go find a highly visible machine and play it. And if there's the biggest intersection in the casino, the widest aisle, follow the widest aisle, and it'll cross the second widest aisle, and that'll be an intersection. And I bet you it'd be in front of the high limit room, and then one of those machines facing that intersection, as Jason, who if he's here, is here, knows very well at Firekeepers, and in Michigan, Southwest Michigan, and this is, you can figure it out, you can learn it. It might be a little hard, you have to try, but then if you come back a week later, all that is removed. You saw a win, you come back later, 5 minutes earlier, play through the same time. You don't have to think any more than that. But if you wanted to, you would realize it was the biggest aisle with the second biggest aisle, that it was an intersection, and it was one of those machines. And so all this kind of relates. And so that's my go-to location when I go to a new to me casino. And I don't mean to get complicated, but there is individual strategies, and then there's a combination. So people who take my course are taught the individual strategies, and then one of them is about a couple of them with a best practice and a tip thrown in, and it's kind of like a mix, and that is itself a strategy or combined strategy. And that gets them used to combining strategies. And when they take the course and they join the Slots Enthusiast Growth Network, that's all we talk about. We talk about this strategy and that strategy, and do them at the same time, and start working on this. And that's what's going to be the topic of the next course I offer. Probably not this year, next year, which will be instructor-led. I hope to offer it. The problem is that it being my time and offering multiple courses at once with a limited number of people, 20 people, what do you think? $1,500 each? I putting in 10 hours a week, to make that successful, and I can't have too large of an audience. I'm not going to have a lecture hall of 700 people. No individual attention there. I figure at most 20 people, and then it's going to go for 6 weeks. It's, I'm just like, got to make the best use of your time, John. There's no charging $97 for that one. Anyway, I don't mean to slip into business strategy, but and I will move on to the next one. Question, Dave. Is this Dave and Lois or no? Dave. Question, California. I thought I saw Canadian. Californian player here. Is it remotely accurate to utilize video poker playback percentages that have been aggregated by players to figure the payback for slots in the same casinos? What you're talking about is a very common video poker strategy. With video poker, you want to have optimum play. You need to not give up an opportunity. You need to have the best pay table. You need to have the best odds. You need to, take this information and use it. And that is all part of playing video poker. And in Nevada, that is all there is to video poker because of Nevada Revised Code Regulation 14.040, paragraph 5, which is a very simple statement. And if you type video poker on my webpage or on YouTube under my channel, you'll see the quote. It's a very clear statement. Video poker machines are based on the table game. The odds are based on the table games. There's no adjustments. It's not like slots. It's like video poker. It's like poker. Video poker is like poker. Video keno is like keno. Video craps is like craps. Video blackjack is like blackjack. It says anything that has a table game equivalent must have the odds of that table game. Now, they break that rule very occasionally, and you can sometimes find machines. But that's only for Nevada. Wherever you place video poker, go to your compact, your tribal compact, the tribal compact for your casino, find it and read it. The section under game rules or game regulations, it should be very particular. And see if it has that statement that the Nevada regulations has. Very clear statement. Video versions are the same as table game versions for table games or anything that can be read like that, because I haven't found it. I haven't found it in any other state outside of Nevada. It is certainly not in South Carolina, or excuse me, certainly not in South Carolina because they have nothing. North Carolina. They don't have it at the Harris casinos there, tribal casinos. It's just not written into it. And you know what? People don't follow, slots enthusiasts, slots manufacturers don't, I'm getting passionate. Slots manufacturers don't follow the rule if there is no rule. So in those states, possibly in California, all you have to do is check the compact and just look for any wording along the lines of video versions are the same as table games. If it doesn't have it, they don't have to follow that rule, and nobody pays for extra when they don't need extra. These machines cost $20,000 each, and add this gaming requirement. You can't install a California slot machine in Nevada without it being actually processed and checked and all of that. So this costs money to put extra in the slot machine, and they won't do it. They just won't install that requirement in California if it isn't a requirement. So what does this mean? It means that in states that don't have this Nevada code 14.040.5, that video poker machines, you have to play them with optimal play. And it works like a slot machine. So play the one on the end of the row, or the one highly visible, or the one on a morning after a major event, but also optimal play. So then it just becomes more than the video poker machine. I hope that helps. Dave says, in states that aren't required to list payback percentages, is there a good method? You can see some trends. I've thought long and hard about showing there's 19 states that have return statistics, 6 of which have return statistics by slot machine denomination. I've thought long and hard about providing videos that show that information. It turns out people don't like don't get excited by looking at graphs. It was my least viewed video ever, but maybe maybe I need to present it better, more color, just flash it quickly, and they don't have to pause at the precise second that it shows, so they can look at it if they want to, and otherwise, don't bother people with it. You can determine, 40% of the U.S. states, just under, have return statistics, any monthly, any form of them, and you can make an inference for 60% of the states, those that don't, because this is not, and I don't mean to get technical here, this is not random data under the statistical guidelines of random data, the formal definition. This is not random behavior, because one casino will be better than the other casino for the last 20 years of return statistics. Hialeah in Florida, and in the commercial casino, better odds or is it the best odds or the worst odds for like 20 years, under the same gaming regulations. That's not random behavior. That's a choice the casino made. So when it's not that kind of random behavior, then we can make predictions. So if you've had statistics and you've, got a B+ average in the course, then you will remember that we can't make predictions of future data, of past data, past random data. We can't make predictions of inferences, extrapolate on past behavior if it's random data. And that's the trick everybody doesn't seem to understand. This isn't random data, so we can make inferences. So if every state that has return statistics by slot machine denomination says that penny slots are the worst, you can bet that all the other states that don't have that, it's still true. And then you start saying, well, downtown Las Vegas has nickel slot machines being the best as of February for 12 solid months. That's only as far as back as I went. It was the best odds for 12 solid months. Would it be true in other states? Well, you can test it out. It's not quite the super fantastic, terrible penny slot machine odds, but it's a place to start, and you can check it out. Hope this helps. Jill, you sent a question. I think I answered your question. Maybe I'm kind of like falling behind. Thomas has a good point. What is the P word? The P word is pandemic, and now I don't get these donations. Yes, that's right. Nobody says the B word from Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And let's see. I want to. Yes, I answered that question. Well, I guess I'll just make sure. What if I went to a high limit room at 4:15 a.m. and put $10 in buy machines in a row of $5 bets? Is what you're talking about? Sure. I mean, that's fine. All you need to do is make bets, and on whatever machine, and I would test it out. I would see just how much you would win, because your first thing you want to do is see if your casino has it. So look around, make sure, to see if anybody else is winning that morning. And you could stop there if you wanted to. But if you bet yourself, then make minimum bets. And if you like max out the top jackpot on the slot machine, well, maybe next time you won't make minimum bets. But you got to sort of like step into it. And I'm concerned about people spending money they don't need to spend. I'm like step by step by step. But we're all gamblers. So I talked about my 5-spin method. I talk about go to 20 machines, make minimum bets. And that first video that I had to redo, people were like, okay, I'm going to high limits and I'm going to spend my $500 $100 and 5 bets on a $100 machine. And I'm like, no, don't like hurt yourself. um, let's see. Uh, let's see. There's a question. So yes, some people are asking questions, and I just can't see if who they're talking to. So hashtag question, as it says, scrolling across the bottom. Hashtag question: why do casinos move their slot machines to another location on the casino floor? Who cares? Uh, if that was a winning machine, whatever they replaced it with is the winning machine using location, location, location. I know we grow attached to particular games, and we miss them and we like them. That's player appeal. And if you're winning on a machine, we have better player appeal. but but that winning machine didn't leave. It was replaced with a winning machine under location, 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 which is like 99% of casinos. That is just like everywhere. I was surprised to find a casino that doesn't have it. And it turns out Louisiana Downs has actually, I was there last year, and it turns out they've remodeled. There's news reports about this in the last, about a week ago. And they've, talked about all the reasons for it, but now they have that. And now they have put the machine so there's one on the end of the row. And instead of everything being like, just rectangles with a bush in front of the entrance to the big open entrance to the high limit room, they block that with a bush. And I'm just like, why would you do that? And right, so don't let that bother you too much. Play the machine that was there. Now, there is a cycle of machines, and I don't think people want to read the gaming regulations. I've read those for every state, and some of the states, and they're all like, I posted a video recently, like, states are weird. Every one of them is an individual. Okay, you're special, just like everybody else. It's like that for states. So there is, in some states, a requirement that it cannot be a losing machine over the lifetime of the machine. It cannot be under 75% or 85%, depending on the state. It cannot be under that amount for the lifetime of the machine. And sometimes these machines are put in and they're under 75% for 6 months, which means they have to be put at above 75% for 6 months, or at least as many bets as being made on that, so that over the lifetime, it meets the requirement and they can kick it to the curb and get rid of it. When you see, 2-cent machines in MGM Grand Detroit's high limit room, a 10-cent machine next to a $10 denomination machine, really 10 cents next to $10. It's an old $10 machine. And it's because they can't get rid of the machine until they recover from 5 years of being under the limit and need to make it over the limit. So they got to put it someplace in the casino, where it slowly gets played. And so until they can get rid of it according to their contractual obligations. So that's one reason why. Now, it could be the opposite. It could be that they made a lot of money on it and they got people excited about it, and now they moved it to another location where they turned the odds down to maybe get some of their money back, because now it's a popular game and people look for it. But I would play the machine that was replacing it. You worked hard to find that machine, and you didn't lose that. You just lost the machine, not the location. Okay. Right. I think this is an answer, maybe to me. So using the hashtag question gets a little complicated. Yes, I think I asked that. I have kept record of gameplay by video. and I post. Have I? I post both wins and losses. Recently started adding the final game ticket so others can see. Yeah, that sounds like a fine thing to do. One of the things you will find out, I'm sure, is that if you were to have a recording of your, like some people have a vlog and they record themselves from waking up to sleeping, except when they go to the shower and restroom. You can't watch that. I mean, I don't mean it's not interesting. I mean, there isn't 48 hours in a day. Because, well, maybe if you watched it at 4 times the speed, an hour in bed before you go to sleep and take away an hour from your sleeping time. You can record so much, but can you analyze it? Anyway, it's all very, let's see. Yeah. Shorty says that it's going the morning after promotions is usually my go-to. Yeah. Generally my go-to. Good. Hey, Steve. Welcome. Shorty says, I don't see the hashtag question mark, but I'm being generous here. How come every state does not have to communicate their winning percentages per denomination at slot machines? You mean why doesn't 60%? No, it's only 6 out of 50 states, 56 if you count the territories, and some of the territories have a lot of gambling. So 50 out of 56 don't have that. Did you ask for it? Did you contact your state senator and say, I wish I had this? People didn't want it. People didn't care for it. It's only afterwards, there have been states, Indiana, for instance, that used to have slot machine denomination statistics, and now they don't. That ended like 2 years ago. So, contact your representative, contact your senator, and ask for it. And that's something that we've talked about here just a little bit. I'm small, and the biggest slots channel is small, tiny. Just Brian Christopher, I don't think, maybe at this point he's gone over 500,000. Where's the 10 million channel, 10 million subscriber channel, the 5 million subscriber channel, the 1 million subscriber channel? Where are these channels? And as an educational channel, I have a idea, and what I'm working towards is just being top dog. Just how to win at slot machines might be more of interest than watching somebody else win at slot machines. Just of course, I got to get better at videos and marketing and all that, and maybe get like more than one moderator. Thank you, Paula. I do appreciate your time. And so there's lots to learn to be a CEO of a company like this. But is this a slots educational channel that is, is it one of those, or is it a movement? Are we getting into state lobbying? Am I encouraging people to become the gaming commissioner? And providing election funds for doing so? When I'm bigger, become a 7-figure salary employee, a 7-figure company, instead of what I am now, which is not that at all. I eat ramen noodles for dinner. I like them, but still, are we a movement? And so maybe we can make some changes. But that is, first of all, people are like, what? I had no idea. And I'm like, well, first step was to let you know, and let you know what it was, and that you can use it in your state, because if every state shows pennies are low, then, by golly, that's what you are. And so we got a tip from Dave. Checking those compacts now. Have fun. There's usually a scanned PDF that's sometimes a little bit sideways, and I like PDFs that you can search through. But some of these are like just images, and because in 1990 they were created, and we didn't have much more than fax machines at the time. Okay. There's a question from Big Zeld. Does taste still work? 1 in 4 casinos. If you go to Las Vegas, every casino. Uh, but in Las Vegas, they're really good about turning it on and turning it off. I shouldn't say turning on, turning off. It's a technical difference. What I mean is they turn it up and turn it down. And so there are times when nobody wins, including with the 5-spin method. And that's the casinos. It's not like what the casino tries to tell you, well, keep trying and maybe you'll get lucky. This is set up by the casino. It's on a schedule. It's not about you. There's too many people walking through any mid-sized Indiana casino to be concerned about who does what. And facial recognition doesn't work unless it's a ATM. It's like right there and sees your face. And surveillance cameras from the ceiling don't work like that in casinos. Anyway, now it probably caused all kinds of questions about players clubs and they're tracking me. But in Las Vegas, you can actually use this method where every casino has it. You can actually play minimum bets when you already know that they have tastes, because the second step is, will I make a profit if they have tastes? So two steps to the test. Does it have taste? And if it does, I won't pull that finger down. The second test is, will it make a profit? And sometimes in Tuesday mornings it doesn't, and sometimes in Tuesday mornings it does. So you can spend $20, $30 just to see what the conditions are at that casino at that time. And if it's not good conditions, you can stop without having wasted too much money. Or it is paying out, profiting, and then you can go for it. Do your usual bets, or even maybe do a little bit more and head to the high limit room. So you see, I'm trying to explain to people how it's like a two-step process. Pardon me for hitting the mic. Two-step process. Test, and then do your regular thing. And there's a couple of things that you can test for. Yeah. Now, Big Zell, did tastes work at half the casinos 10 years ago? I saw this on a Columbo episode, the one where he goes on a cruise. It was also in the first season of Twilight Zone in early 1960s. What, 1960, 1963 maybe? Now that one I'm not sure of, because he never did leave the slot machine and he died doing so. But it was like the first half of the high limit method. I'm checking my internet speed to see if I'm blurry, and I want to make sure that, while we're doing this. Are you sure, Fun? Are you sure that, yeah, I'm over the 5 megabits per second? Good. Fun says, Vegas exec does not have a question mark, a hashtag question. I'm curious about those jackpots that let me pick until I assume that you're in Vegas. There are no Class 2 slot machines. Class 2 slot machines are basically skill-based games where your decision does matter. It's kind of like the second round in video poker, where you actually get to choose a card. When you choose an option in Class 3 slot machines, you pick something, you always pick everything was decided when you made your bet. Whatever machine, whatever coin that you chose, it was going to be the same answer, whatever one you chose, because everything was decided at the beginning of that round, of that bet. If you have, 200 free bonus rounds on a single bet, where at first it was only 1,000, but then you got another 500 and another five. All that was determined. Press of the button, you made the bet. Everything else is an illusion. Now, no, it's not telling anybody. It's like people looking at uh, an easy way to explain this is like the three physical real machines. And you get red 7, half red 7. Oh, so close. No, it wasn't close. It wasn't close at all. I gotta take a sip of water. My voice is breaking. Mm, mm, mm. So, uh, what was decided when you made the bet, and that's what you got. Have fun playing it, though. It's enjoyable. So close, Oh, it wasn't, but I remember telling people that back when I first got started, like what's it? Gee, almost 10 years now. And more than 10, depends on how you count it, but small crowds at the beginning. And I remember telling somebody that, that so close thing wasn't close at all. It was decided at the time of the bet. And it's just presenting interesting combinations for you. And people got really mad. At me. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at this casino. What's goodness? Um, uh, so, Kim, if you look at the top of the live stream, at the live chat, or it would be the first pinned comment when I get a chance to, and it will be a card when I get a chance to. They won't let me do this on live streams until like the next day. But at the top of the live chat is a link to a video, and it explains all of this. It's basically a casino accounting practice, which they may or may not have, and you need to check to see if your casino has it. And then when this happens, it works great. Okay. I am serious about the hashtag question. If you don't put hashtag question, there's a lot of side conversations going on between, this community video. And I don't know if you're asking me, if you're answering somebody else's question. Hashtag question, please. Fun. Do you see wins, jackpots, and hand pays hitting waves? Sure. I mean, that's what you watch for. I mean, I have a whole strategy on, is everybody winning or is everybody losing? At this time. It's not like a whole crowd came in. It's the same crowd. And funny how it starts on the hour, like it's on a schedule, and this is how you make observations and you walk around and you look. So if everybody else is winning, you're more likely to. If nobody else is winning, why would you think that you would win? This is what people who think everything is fully random, whatever fully random means, uh, and they don't get how casinos really work. Vegas exec has another question. Excellent. Curious. You asked this question twice. There's no reason to ask it twice. Edward asks, who is your Kentucky Derby winner? I don't know. We do slots. I don't do sports betting. I don't do races. I'm just telling you how to go play a slot machine and win there because there's a race going on the day before. Honestly, you can know people, you can know horses, or you can know machines. Guess what? I know machines. If they had a mechanical horse at some point, I'd probably be pretty good at it. Question: does the choose an idle machine strategy work at casinos that close overnight? Yes. It's just that when I say play an idle machine, it's kind of like all machines have a couple hours less idle. Now, there are, Newport Gaming has a store. It's in a strip mall that's a casino, and it opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. It closes at 10 o'clock at night. I think you're talking about something that might close for an hour or two, or clean all the machines because of the the p word. um, uh, and so there I'd be like, gee, I don't know how do they just packed until 10 o'clock, and then they're packed at 8 o'clock in the morning. But if it just shortens the time. So if you have a casino that closes at 3 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the morning because they're cleaning, be the first one there. It helps if you're the first person to play the slot machine, and that's what you're trying to do. That hasn't been played in a while, and they all haven't been played in a while. So it's almost better because you're assured it didn't get played. Now, if they turned everything off, powered down the slot machines, then there was no clock ticking. But that's so inconvenient. They turn a slot machine on and they just leave it on for months and years, right? Um, and so maybe, move this one, move that one, and it gets turned off. Uh, and, there's resets, but not shutdowns. And so you actually have an opportunity that nobody else has because you are assured that it was idle for however many hours. And so be the first person to play on it, and it's almost better. You have found the advantage. The rest of us have to go, I hope it wasn't played. I've gone in the night before, written down, or 24-hour casino, written down all of the numbers shown on a slot machine in the high limit area. Just little characters walked around. Later on they stopped me from doing that, but this time I went in and I just made a note of what the real combinations were. Then I went back early the next morning to see if any of them had been played, so I could play the ones that hadn't been changed, and all of them had been played on a slow night. And so it's like if you can find a slot machine that hasn't been played for like a couple hours, you're doing well. Um, and I wasn't there at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was checking them at like 9 o'clock so I could get home to bed by 10. And all of them had been played in high limit. I hadn't realized just how much machines are played until I had this data. And now I understand because I found the statistics that show just how much slot machines are played during a day. It's just amazing. $508 for a mid-size Indiana casino. That is, they give back 90%, and $508 is what's left over. So what is that? $5,000 is put into the machine, and all but $508 or $18 is returned. And so they make I think it's $18, and you can check the states that have return statistics for this number, and a bunch of them do. And you can see, it's population based and all that. Did I show you? Well, I'll do this next. And if you times, get an idea what money they're making in a slot machine, $518 per day times 5 slot machines is $2,600 for 5 slot machines in a day, times 30.4, which is the average number of days in a year, in a month. That's $79,000 on 5 slot machines in a month, pure profit. I mean, from which they pay employees and investors and all of, lights and utilities and all of that. And that's a lot of money. That's why a convenience store getting 5 machines like a Texaco in Tennessee, is so much. They've got a line to use these machines 24 hours a day. And it's huge profits per month just to have 5 machines. Here's $80,000 profit, not what you gave back. What times 100? Yeah, that would be like times 100. Yeah, so that's not right. Divided by 100, divided by 10 times 100. Yeah, that would be $800,000 in income, which they had to return 90% of it. And so they made as a profit 90% of it. If they followed the gaming requirements, which they don't necessarily have to do because it's illegal machines, it could be more money than $80,000 a month for 5 machines in a Texaco in Tennessee. Right. My times for live streaming is now Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and now noon on Saturdays. I've been trying to go to 2 hours for a little while now. As you can, my voice is getting a little rough, so I have to make sure I lubricate and hopefully my voice will last for 3 2-hour long live streams each week. And while I make videos elsewise. Let's see. Thank you, Paula, for mentioning that. Dave says, if the tribal compact lists the gaming device standards as following certain GLI standards, as well as Nevada's, what would that mean? The tribal has similar paybacks as Nevada. You're asking about something that you found. The device standards have to do with security on what happens when you open it, having coins, having the GLI interface requirements. And so this isn't, maybe it would help you if you went to the Nevada Revised Code 14.040, paragraph 5, and under the Regulation 14, it's a page 8 or so, and you can find the PDF and read that statement and also look to see where they organize that statement to be. So it isn't in Nevada, it isn't in that section about GLI standards. It's in a section that would talk about something else. And so the details escape me. I don't want to bring it up on the screen, but we can talk about it if you want to. You're looking to see where it should be and then find out if it's not there in California compacts. Yeah, these compacts are hard to read, and you need to know what section to look in. And that's kind of different stuff having to do with standards of machine operation. And this is a different thing, technically. Right. Question, Steve. Yeah, Nori, you're very welcome. Yes. Yeah, I understand that question. John, from Steve. If you play early morning, they remove the money and the machine light keeps blinking on until it's played. Oh, yeah. I didn't even want to mention that because in Missouri at the Riverboat casinos, there's actually a little light that tells you the last time the machine was opened by the slot attendant. And if that light is still on, have you seen just to explain it, if you've seen the candle light and there's a light for sometimes there's one light, sometimes there's 2 lights, and if there's 2 lights, I think it's actually 3 lights in Missouri. The third light is a white light, and it says whether or not the machine was opened and if anybody has played it recently. It's something for the slot mechanics to know whether they've serviced that machine yet or not. And until somebody plays it, that light stays on, and you can kind of use that. Like you're saying, you're using that to see how long it's been played. If they kind of like you saw the team of slot mechanics sweep through 2 hours ago and the 5 machines that still have that light on, you go play those. Yeah. Good technique. And you see what I mean? When I talk in the about my online course, we're talking about just this. But when we talk here and we talk in the Slots Enthusiast Growth Network, we're saying, what if you do this? What combines well? What about this and this? And it's a natural thing that starts happening once you learn my slot strategies individually, learn them well. And it will be second nature to start saying, what if I do both of these? Location at the same time as a five spin method? Well, give me a hard one. That's awesome. And so I don't think that is a question for me. Okay. I did want to share something, which I am so embarrassed by. Uh, let's see here. This is this is one of my wins from the 3 wins that I had in 45 minutes on a Wheel of Fortune. I told you I'm fond of Wheel of Fortune. I'm not recommending Wheel of Fortune. I'm just saying I've had some good times on Wheel of Fortune because it was highly visible, location, 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 etc. And so this is one of those wins that I had before going to Las Vegas on my 7 stars trip where, and let me see if I can click on that properly. This is a very blurry photo with my wearing this hat, which I showed you earlier for the very first time. If you will notice, if you look down, you will see me wearing those cowboy boots. So this is the second trip to the casino where I bought the cowboy boots. And let me see, there was one other thing. Oh, yes. So on that trip on the 4th of July to Las Vegas, just to give you a minute to ask questions, this is a UFC fight, UFC 175 in 2014. Um, uh, Weidman and Machida in 2014 on July 14th. Don't eat my hat, dog. He uh, likes Hyde, and so my son-in-law, who was not my son-in-law at the time, he was just like UFC. I was. It was reported that he was stomping around the room in California. UFC 175. He's at UFC 175, and just off to one side of this, a little bit more over to this little left side, right side is Joe Rogan, and unfortunately, the person sitting right behind me wanted to be heard by Joe Rogan, and I've never heard that much sound come out of a human being's mouth and lungs in my life. I fell down between the seats. I was so shocked, and and it did it again a few minutes later, and it happened again, and I'm like, I can't take it. But these are the 7 stars. Uh, uh, trips that are a lifetime of memories. A hat that I wear all the time while mowing because, you need a big hat to keep the sun off in farmland in Ohio. Anyway, we have any more questions? Uh, yeah, watching out for, well, I don't really see a question. And did I talk about everything that I wanted to talk about? Let me double check. So I made the announcements, and we'll see if there's any more questions. Last chance, unless you have to come back later. Yeah, reading compacts is kind of a particular thing you need to kind of like read a couple and begin to understand, and it's also hard. I'm a research scientist, so I read something and I look for what's missing because it's almost as good, sometimes better, than what's said. I think I pretty much nailed that one, so I'll move on. Yeah, the basic idea here is to move away from it must work because I want it to work, to what does the casino do and how do I take advantage of it. That's a hard thing to make that adjustment. It can be a hard thing. It maybe not hard, maybe it just takes a while. It's like, now that we're winning because of these methods, we suddenly found out what it's like to win, where losing and having lost limits happened right from the start years ago. But winning suddenly becomes this thing, and it's like, oh, I didn't realize that was so hard. So now I have to figure out how to get out of the casino. As I think Shawana was saying, how do I get out of the casino? And there's people that I'm talking to. I have paid consultations, and I have one later today, which hopefully my voice will be just basically don't talk for the next couple of hours so that I can talk then. And people ask these questions: how do I get out of the casino? This is what happens to me. How do I fix it? And other things, because I talk about it, but I don't. People have particular questions and they want reassurance and they want to know, what about my state's compact that doesn't says this. Could you look at this with me with my, while on a Zoom meeting, and share what does that mean? Could you look into it? Could you think about it? Could you research it before the meeting? And that's what the paid consultations are. I also have a free version, which is 15 minutes, which is mostly just saying hi, oh, look at the time, bye. And that way you find out whether or not I'm a human being or a robot. Unfortunately, I'm a human being. So I don't really mean that. Um, so there's hashtag question. Uh, what is one thing you recommend we avoid? Um, what is one thing I recommend we avoid? Uh, there's just so many different things. It becomes obvious when I'm having a paid consultation what that one thing is for somebody. Uh, and You have another post that says Chuck says, I recommend not angering Paula. Paula is nicer than I am. And yep. Paula has been sharing this. Paula is, I've directed Paula to be far more abrupt and, she gives people warnings. I'm like, no. But she still does, and I haven't criticized her for that. So, it works for her. And, so yeah, and it's not anger. She's being nicer than my instructions to her as moderator. Anyway, what is the one thing you recommend we avoid? What do you want? I mean, uh, that's such a blanket statement. Under these circumstances, this. Under these circumstances, that. Do you do this? Well, don't do this. Do that, and it'll be better. There's all kinds of things. It's too vague of a question. I wrote a book on this. Don't avoid getting a free copy of the book by buying the course. Educate yourself on slots. If you're going to ask a general question, I'm going to answer it with a general observation. Think about what you're doing. Look up from your slot machine instead of just focusing on your slot machine. Look up. Look around. If you can, go for a walk and find the biggest intersection and blah, blah, blah. Think. There's a lot of casinos that don't want you to think. And I say avoid that. um, Dave makes a point that avoid penny slots, but that's just the return statistics on every state that offers them about penny slots. You can still find the one over by the cafe that doesn't raise the odds on the other 9,999 penny slot machines in that casino. I've talked to you about my location. I'm going to go to Belterra Park tomorrow, and I found 2 slot machines that apply to location. Normally, there's 3 in 7,000 slot machines in a casino. Sometimes there's 1, sometimes there's none. I found 2. I walked through and I said, these couple machines over by the main aisle, main section, main intersection, obviously pointed in the right direction, and then another one over by the guard station, and maybe on this side, maybe on that side. And then I walked through later, and there was a hand pay on the one on the right, and there was one, the second one from the end of the row at the main intersection at Belterra Park, and I'm just like, well, it could have been the first one, yeah. And that's it. People were winning on the ones, and I think people were one of those people were like deliberately walking up to that machine like they knew what they were doing, and the other one was just sort of like I saw him on the other side of the carousel facing, well, it was facing nowhere really, and I'm like, no, he doesn't know. He was just luck that he chose that time. So that's it. What a great live stream. You'll see me in my next live stream on Tuesday at 3 p.m. or Tuesday at 7 p.m., Thursday at 3 p.m., or 1 week from today at noon Eastern. In the meantime, let me see if I can do this right. In the meantime, watch this video on how to use my special event strategy to win at your casino.